Holy cow, there you are. I should clear my throat before I turn this damn thing on. Anyways, good morning. Good morning. I got a second. I just want to say hello, and what about how have you guys been catching on to any of this stuff? It's the coolest things. I ain't hearing from nobody, so I'm just going to say, well, goddamn, ain't nobody understanding it. So, but anyways, I think some of you are. It doesn't take enlightenment to understand. I just went and looked up the word Nazarene to find out what it means. But because we do know what it means, some of you guys, then it's just easier to understand, And so that's what that enlightenment is about. Knowledge. It just gives you knowledge. It doesn't give you no extra powers to do shit or anything like that. But that's what they tell you, They tell you to go forth, multiply, and go forth and multiply. That doesn't mean go out and have a bunch of children, Now you understand that it's this idea of going up, going up, connecting mom and dad together. We understand really very much what it means to have the power in your hand and in your arm, what they talk about, your outstretched arm. And so many of the wonderful stories we find this, in this tug of war between wrong and right, good and bad, light and dark, this love, the separation between the two, the seed, the idea that you have to be a part of this union before anything works. It's a really wonderful puzzle that we found out through the code, which is a part of the puzzle, which tells us about the word, which is another part of the puzzle, and how we learn to read by the spirit, which is symbolism, which is another part of the puzzle. Did you catch that one with the dream in the Song of Solomon? This is what she dreamed. She dreamed of his left hand under her head, right? And the right hand, going about pleasuring her, right? Stuff like that. What that means is his left hand, they're talking about under her control. This is what it was supposed to be. That's what we hear at the end of the story. She goes, it should have been his left hand under my head. It should have been. That's what she wants. That's what God wants. All right? That's what Jesus wants. It's what Buddha wants. But then you'll find that it's not what any of these guys really want. It's all those people are you. You become this Buddha. You become Krishna because Jesus with us, because he says when you connect, both he and his Father both will dwell with you. You don't need to be enlightened to not read that. It says that. Someone has come in and taught to us. Someone has talked to thousands of years ago, put us on the wrong path. And it's just a way of mind, a way of thinking that causes us to neglect this female side. And this female side, is just energy, a positive energy. So it's just a shame, just a shame. Just a shame. And to think that we're all fighting against each other and arguing, and here I give the truth. I'm not accepted in the truth community because I don't believe in God. That's one of the things that truthers do. And, what can I say? Sometimes I feel defeated. Like that one little voice, like I say I want to do with those, when the Jesus guys come into town again, I want to get one of them walkie-talkies. I'm going to be that guy in the crowd that says, nay, don't, go into battle for this, for the truth. It's what I feel like I can do. Hold back the tide with my hands. Maybe I should hold them closer together, catch it. But No, I find that this stuff is real important, so that's why I share it. You know, and I don't care if we only get a few people to listen or understand any of it, but listen, it's just knowledge. It's just knowledge that you get. Yeah, I've always wanted it. Doesn't mean anything. It's just that since I was a little kid, I always had, I'm going to find the answers to this and this and this and this and this. And I go on a lot about different things that are important. But my mind isn't filled with trivia stuff. You know. But someone can ask me, do you know about God? Yes. Have you talked to him? I put myself in the position of chatting with him, but I wasn't there. I was out of my mind at the time. And so, but can you explain him? Yes, I can explain. I can explain the science behind him, you know, behind it or them. I can explain a lot of things. I know a lot of things. I knew a lot of that before I had all of this business, before I could just read the Bible. You know, it's just an idea of I don't know. It's like being some kind of like a white, well, you know, this guy here on this horse. When I was working in the cemetery with the Markmen, we used to go around on Fridays picking up garbage throughout the cemetery. It's a big cemetery. I called it trick or treating in the cemetery. We did it every Friday. And we'd run around with a wheelbarrow. Me and a bunch of we were allowed to say retarded back then. You know, doesn't mean anything terrible, but these guys are my best of friends. You know, about 13 of us running around out there. You couldn't tell me from the rest of them, but we would clean up the place. And I called them, I said, we're all a bunch of white knights, you know. They didn't have this idea of spook and scary, but kind of, but maybe not. They'd say, you and I said, we, because there would be like something like, what do you call those things? Some kind of, you know, I don't know, some kind of fruit of some kind, and all these pennies stuck in it, you know, with some Santa Teresa stuff, you know, they just toss it over, or they're playing around, you know, with some crazy shit. So I think they would be fascinated with it because there'll be bags of pennies and stuff like that, you know, more of this crap, you know, got a noisy town. That, with the Santa Teresa, they were, you know, the guy said, oh, there's money. And I said, don't you touch that money. There might be something wrong with it. So it's got some poison on it. So we don't pick it up and throw it away. So we called ourselves like little white knights running around in there trying, you know, and that was what saved us, is that, you know, nothing could bother us because we were the white knights trying to fix everything up, you know. So it's that kind of thinking, you know, that makes you feel like, you know, hey, you know, I do paintings and try to lighten up the town. And I may have already been picked up on this a long time ago. It's just the way it is, you know. And whenever I find something out, I like to share it. It's like I learned how to paint. Oh, how easy. And then I taught I taught hundreds of people literally, you know, how to paint. And I shared things, just shared, and that's what it is. I've then found out this Bible stuff, you know. Oh my God, you know, this is like a Lincoln. This is like how things are made, you know. I just have to understand, and I have to learn how to tell you that I think the whole world was just jump started. You know, it was like they started off with a bunch of idiots, and then this is it, you know, and then, you know, you better do this. Maybe not ever even known about this code or anything, because whenever when they made their own, when they made their own to sound like Abraham and all these in the, you know, Old and New Testaments, it's missing the code. You know, they're part of the Bible. The Torah is cool, but you know the Quran just, you know, cut and paste. You know, and what does make some noise? I'm going to go and find it. I'm going to find some. There's some science in there. And I bet that is some of the stolen text. I bet it has the number system in it, but it's not consistent. There's no salvation in Islam. The idea is that they've taken up a pagan god and they've disposed of his wife and his daughter. So there goes your spiritual side. just as if they hid her underneath a dove and called her the Holy Ghost. But we found plenty text about this beautiful female side of our mind and how this mother of us all, relates to Adam and Eve, as Eve, that is, the Eve side. Plus, we hear it constantly. We hear it constantly when we're talking about she's the mother of us all. When Proverbs, introduction to your mother, she is mother. She is the wisdom. And that's who you connect to for this. She talked about going out in the streets looking for her husband, her soul desires so much. She goes out into the street to find him. This is the silver being thrown out into the street, and whenever he would mention her, she would be this tower. So she was either going, this is the way at the end of the story that, when they made fun of her, kind of, the girl, our daughter, our sister ain't got no titties. What are we going to do? Well, let's see. If she's going to be a wall, then we'll build this palace on top of it, this silver palace. So she would represent a kingdom. Or she would be this door, and then she'd represent this place where you'd have to come to enter into that kingdom. She'd be this door, this room that everybody goes to while they're in the wilderness, just seeking out this little house. These are really beautifully woven songs, stories, fairy tales, mysteries. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And all of them are ringing to the tune of Go My Home. Inside their stories, all these stories, just has one message, just one little message. And it repeats over and over and over and over, just ringing like a bell. Come home. That's it. That's it. Does it have anything else? What else can I say? What else can they say? You cut the flesh out of this business, the word made flesh. That's like, an architect, when you have a drawing, everything is lines, and then the lines come alive, That's, that's some kind of cartoon world you're living in out there. But, if you look through and found out what all held it all together, you would find that it was this way and this law. And the Bible then reveals the idea that it is one of the workings of this world, that it is like, it came with not just our mind makes the world around us. And whoever has control of our pineal gland, which right now is the church, for a good 90% of the world, their religions have control of their pineal glands, which means they have control over you, the earth. They have control over you, your mind. And if you learn to get control over that pineal gland, then you gain control back from them to you. That's all you get. You get disconnected from the outside and reconnected to the inside. And that's disastrous, and that's illegal, and that's new age. Really? Is that what it is? To be disconnected from God is to be the way everyone has been doing for years and years. God has left the building for these people. They are dead. What's wrong with raising up from the dead every now and then and telling a couple of your buddies so you're not all by yourself, all these zombies running around. But you would find that that's just you find that the very, very thing, this religion, it's like the apple, it's made us sick. If you get right down to the core of it, it's going to be what saves us. It's just very strange, very interesting at the same time. And I really can't complain and say, this is all done by the Persian guys, It sounds like it comes from there. But in reality, it's still just a story, And it would show that it was all made up by a king somewhere that had charge no wherefore to do all of this, to set the whole thing up, which would be an outside thing, a king. But because the words are also, the number system is found in it, these, whoever this place, whoever this group was, it's not a negative situation. They could have been under some kind of guise where they had to hide it to store it, or to be able to maintain it. But it's in all these other religions, that are age old. Not the new things, not nothing, nothing that's man-made, obviously man-made. But you would see that the code was in the Hindu religion, and it goes into the Vedic, and it goes all the way back into Thoth and all these. So, wherever this came from, whoever was the keeper of these things, this is the idea that these things existed before the religions did. All right? That's just the idea of it, okay? Because they run rampant. All of these wonderful stories with the code in them, are said about their thousands of years apart between Buddhism and Christianity. And here we are bringing up Buddhism. In Rapture. Rapture is a Buddhist concept, thousands of years before. And why is it that we're not fitting in these other things? There's a bunch of other religions that come involved in all this stuff, but then when you come to the Catholic faith, you'll find that that's where all of these mixtures come in. Because they bastardized everything. And no one's talking about following the law the correct way. It's more noise. This is our beautiful, beautiful island. And it's crisscrossed with this noise all day long. If I start complaining about that, that'd be a terrible thing. It's, oh no, shut that motherfucker up. But it really is just one of the worst things about this island. And even they have the little tours with people riding around on the airplanes, and an old-fashioned airplane too at that. Well, anyways, we'll one day when we're on here, I'll say, oh, we know what that one is. Let's tag it. That's one of, this kind of an airplane. But anyways, so when you want to talk about this with someone, you're saying all you really are, you just, learned how to read the Bible correctly. And that when you do read the Bible correctly, you find out all kinds of things, and it shouldn't be afraid to have knowledge. You shouldn't be afraid to say that I understand this now, and this is what it means, even if their mouth is just wide open. This is like my friends, they said, this country bumpkin, here I am, all of a sudden I can talk to them about, this is what this for means. And then, and they're like, kind of freaking out. But in the Bible, it says what it is. It's, when you talk to people that don't want to hear it, it's like pulling on dog's ears, So, So, for those people that understand it and all, great. For those that can't, wah, 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 it ain't for everybody. But, listen, you don't have to have all this enlightened crap, to see it. It's right there in front of us anyways. So I can point you in the direction of these things, and you can go and find all the stuff out too on your own. Just that easy. But when you do, let me know that you're going to, don't let me know, but I will let you know that, you're caught. You're going to be caught up in this from that point on, because it's all about knowledge, and it's feeding the seed that you plant, the sowing, this idea of planting this kid, sowing seed correctly, knowing what this is all about, brings riches to you. And it's just riches that it brings you, the frankincense and myrrh. That's the, it's the energy, wonderful things that come in. The gold, the gold is it's the whole Godhead thing. Anything in three, it's the joining together. At least in this more positive side, when a child is born, it's the joining, of mother and father together. It's a beautiful thing. It never happened. It's how your mind works, and it teaches us how to do it ourselves so we can get up there and, clean house. You know, can't do it on its own. Right. So have a beautiful day, you guys. And I'll learn something else about our Bible and bring it up to you. See what you think. And I'm finding the stop button. I love you.